Forget New Year, New You. This season is about slowing down, locking the doors, and cozying up at home with the one you really want to do nothing with. Your dog. After the holiday chaos, those quiet nights with a blanket, a podcast, and your pup feel like the reset you actually need. Ollie helps make those moments easier with fresh protein-packed meals made from real human-grade ingredients, so your dog can enjoy some quality comfort food too. Choose from 5 recipes and get a personalized plan for your dog's needs. Meals arrive perfectly proportioned with a scoop and storage container, so serving is fast and mess-free. And with Ollie's in-app on-demand health screenings, supporting your dog is easy, ensuring more cuddles for many years to come. Visit ollie.com/truecrime and use code TRUECRIME for 60% off your first box.
Wendy Adelson's former boyfriend, Jeff Lacasse, was a major witness in the previous trials in the murder case of Dan Markel, the Florida State University law professor who was shot and killed after pulling into his driveway in July 2014. At Donna Adelson's trial, which we started in the last episode, Part 1, Jeff Lacasse testified about many of the same things he had testified to before, like how Wendy was extremely bothered by the relocation motion having been denied. But some things became a bit more clear. According to his testimony, in April 2014, Jeff and Wendy had a date night scheduled, and he couldn't get a hold of her. He said he was so concerned that he drove over to her place, and when she answered the door, he said she appeared to be intoxicated, not just alcohol, he said. She wanted him to stay, but he was annoyed and left. Then on June 4th, 2014, Wendy called him and canceled a trip that they had scheduled for July, with them returning the day before the murder. Wendy said she was concerned that she wouldn't be home in time to pick up her kids. He said it didn't make any sense because she wasn't scheduled to pick up the kids until July 18th, which happened to be the day of the murder. Now, June 4th, the date of this phone call, is an important date because as we know from Luis Rivera's testimony, that's when the hitmen took their first trip out to Tallahassee, but ended up losing sight of Dan Markel and not killing him. Well, according to Jeff, later that day on June 4th, Wendy called him again and said she wasn't feeling well. She was having stomach issues. He went over to her place.
And what happened when you got there?
Well, on the way there, I remember contacting her and asking her, do you want me to stop and get some stomach medicine or something like that? And didn't. I believe she told me not to. Once I got there, she hemmed and hawed a little bit, and then eventually I left because she was a complete anxious wreck. She didn't have the flu. She didn't have food poisoning. She was just a nervous, anxious wreck, and it was affecting her stomach. So after a little while, I drove to a nearby convenience store to go get her Pepto-Bismol, which I recall because I have a credit card receipt from this random convenience store a few miles from her house.
All right, so she was a nervous wreck that night, and did she tell you what the problem was or not?
No, there was no discernible. I couldn't figure it out. She didn't tell me.
Jeff was asked about observing her TV being broken. He said around the week of June 11th or 18th, he went to turn her TV on and noted that it was broken. He said it was implausible to him that the kids could have caused the damage. He said it wasn't completely shattered, but there was an impact mark. Jeff also testified that in the spring of 2014, Wendy was trying to get one of her sons tested for gifted placement for school. Jeff said she asked him when children develop autobiographical memory.
She asked me when kids develop memory. At what age will kids start to remember what happened to them when they were a kid?
And what was your answer?
I think I said 5 or 6.
Again, this is expert testimony. Mr. Zalman, sit down. You may testify concerning not the truth of the matter asserted, but how this affected the state of mind of Wendy Adelson.
Your Honor, this has not been disclosed to the defense.
Please approach.
After a brief break and with the jury out of the courtroom, prosecutor Georgia Kappelman admitted that the testimony about Wendy asking about the kid's memory was likely not turned over to the defense. She apologized and said it was inadvertent, and Donna's attorneys agreed that it was not intentional. The testimony was stricken and questioning resumed. Jeff also testified more in this trial about how he believed Wendy may have been trying to set him up for Dan's murder. Today, we're going to get into part 2 of Donna Adelson's trial. I tried to get all the relevant information down to just 2 parts, but as I should have predicted, there was just too much, so this is a part 2 of part 3. This is Jillian in partnership with Law and Crime, and you are listening to Court Junkie. While on the stand at Donna Adelson's trial, Jeff Lacasse was shown the text message Wendy Adelson, his girlfriend at the time, sent to her brother Rob in July 2014, where she told him that she had a secret boyfriend.
Have you ever had a chance to review this text message before?
Yeah, you showed this to me last week.
All right, and this message had never been shown to you before last week, right?
Right.
And it's been testified that this was from Wendy Adelson to her brother Rob Adelson, but it concerns you.
Yes.
Is there anything factually incorrect in what Wendy Adelson is stating in that text message?
Well, she says, I haven't told mom and dad about me. I met them multiple times. It's impossible that they didn't know we were dating. For example, I was aware that Donna wasn't thrilled that I wasn't Jewish, So that doesn't add it. This doesn't make sense to me in terms of seeing me for 6 or 7 months.
So in that text message, she's saying, that you're a secret boyfriend from the parents. Were you a secret boyfriend from the parents at that time?
It's implausible. No, I don't think so.
In fact, you'd met the parents several times.
Yeah, and had conversations with them, limited conversations, but conversations. And the other part that's, I think, really significant is the kids talked about me constantly. I have all kinds of text messages and emails where Wendy's mentioning the kids are down in South Florida talking about me.
Jeff and Wendy took a trip to Gainesville towards the end of June 2014. When they returned on June 30th, their relationship wasn't over, but it was strained. The next time Jeff saw Wendy was on July 13th. He was at her place, and the subject of relocation came up again. This is when Wendy told him seriously that her brother Charlie had looked into hiring a hitman. He had testified about this previously. But this time, he also told the court that when he was at Wendy's apartment, he noticed her taking down artwork, her kids' paintings, off the walls.
All right, so I've blurred the boys' faces, but this is how the residents at Aqua Ridge appeared.
Yes.
And the kids' art that's shown on the wall here, was that present during the time that you were dating Wendy Adelson?
Yes.
Was it something that art would come down and other art would go up, or was it pretty fixed?
It was, maybe some art would get added, but I never saw any come down until July 14th.
Right.
13th, sorry, July 13th.
July 13th, you noticed that the art had been taken down?
We walked into the kitchen, and then Wendy was pulling art off the wall, the only time I'd ever seen her do that.
The following day, July 14th, the Monday before the murder, Jeff and Wendy went to yoga together. They tried talking about their relationship, but it didn't go very well. They were parting ways, and Jeff thought it was over. He was walking away when she called after him.
Get about 10, 15 feet away from her, and she calls after me. I turn around, and she had a series of detailed questions about what I would be doing on Friday. I had a trip to Tennessee planned, and she wanted to know if I was going on that trip, and she wanted to know what route I would be taking. And if I didn't go on the trip, why wouldn't I go on the trip? And I answered the questions as best I could, but I was confused why, at that moment, she wanted to know the details of what I was doing on Friday when she expressly didn't want to spend time with me on Friday.
Okay, and we now know that Dan Markel was murdered on Friday.
Yes.
Right? If you had taken the trip as planned, which is as you reported to Wendy that day, what would your route have been?
I would have left my house at about 11 a.m., which Wendy knew. I'd related my plan to her earlier in the relationship. Needed to get to Atlanta for dinner and was worried about traffic and stuff like that. So I would have left at 11, and I would have driven down. I would have got to Capitol Circle in Thomasville, which is close enough to Danny's house that it kind of gave me the creeps. It was kind of weird. Yeah.
Okay. So physically, you're saying you might have been sort of consistent with how the killers fled town.
Yeah.
After that yoga outing, Jeff got an email from Wendy saying she wanted another week to think about things.
She's asking for another week, which brings it to the 21st of July. And I was puzzled. I wondered what in the world is going to happen July 21st. But I just didn't respond because she asked for no contact.
All right. So she wants to have no contact for a week.
Right.
Jeff testified that he was aware he was a potential suspect. At the time of the murder, he was in Tennessee. He had changed his travel plans at the last minute. Instead of leaving the morning of the murder, as he had originally told Wendy he was going to, he ended up leaving the night before. He was asked if he learned at some point that the killers had made that first trip out to Tallahassee in June. He said yes.
And did you put together some facts about your travel plans that day that could have potentially made you a suspect on that trip as well if the murder had happened as
Yeah,
planned?
that Friday, I was scheduled to go to a business trip in Gainesville, leaving at 11 a.m. So 2 times in 2014, I leave town on a trip by myself in my car, and both times hitmen are in town trying to kill Danny Markel, once successfully, obviously.
Are you familiar with the type of vehicle that was originally rented by the killers in June to make that June trip?
I am.
Okay. And was that significant to you?
Yeah, I mean, this is long after this all happened. I'm learning this from court proceedings in 2016. But when I heard they rented a gray Altima initially, I had a 2004 Nissan Sentra. That freaked me out because that's about as close as you were going to get to my car on the rental market.
I'm going to show you what I've marked as State's Demonstrative Exhibit G. You recognize this exhibit?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Is this the make and model of it's not the actual rental car, but the make and model of the rental car compared to the make and model of your vehicle?
Yeah, my car's right on top. That looks just like the car I had at the time.
June Umchinda, one of Charlie Adelson's ex-girlfriends, also reiterated her testimony from Charlie's trial, how she noticed a change in Charlie's behavior after the arrests of Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera, and also a change in Donna's behavior.
And did you describe her as a mess?
Yes, if it's there, yes.
What does a mess mean?
Just like mentally upset and physically drained or not their usual self.
All right. Was she crying when you saw her?
At a point in time, yes.
And did Charlie Adelson advise you that she was taking painkillers for stress during that time frame?
Yes.
And was there a time when you were on the balcony of Donna Adelson's residence and she made a statement to you about Dan Markel?
We were speaking about Dan because the case was such a big thing at that time, yes.
Okay, and what was the statement she made?
Well, her life was crumbling down in her family's life. So she said everything felt like Dan was haunting her from the grave or them. I don't know. Whatever it says there.
She feels like Dan's back from the grave, like haunting her or something.
In reference to that, yes.
Financial investigator Mary Hull told the jury about the finances related to the case, namely what money was paid to the hitmen and Katie, when it was paid, and where it came from. Especially of note to Donna, Hull testified that Katie was on the Adelson Institute payroll from October 7th, 2014 to May 17th, 2016. The practice's management formally changed from Harvey to Charlie on October 2nd, 2015. Payroll paperwork and checks were signed by Donna Adelson, not Charlie. Catherine Magbanua, in her orange jumpsuit and shackles, testified in Donna's trial as well. Prosecutor Georgia Kappelman asked why she chose to come forward with the truth now.
I think that the truth needed to come out and the people responsible needed to get arrested.
Okay. Are you hoping to get something out of this?
I would eventually like to see my children again one day.
And are you hoping that something can be done for you even after being sentenced?
Yes, ma'am, I'm hoping so.
Okay. Have you been promised anything
No,
in exchange for your testimony?
No, ma'am, I have not.
Okay. By me or by anyone?
No, ma'am, nobody.
Okay. Has anybody told you what you need to say here today?
No, ma'am.
Has anybody told you, well, you need to implicate a certain person?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Weren't you originally offered immunity in this case to come forward with the truth?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
Why did you not take that opportunity?
Well, in the first trial, I was tried with Sigfredo Garcia, and he was facing the death penalty, and I just couldn't do it.
Okay, because the truth would implicate your child's father.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What about the second time?
I've been living a lie this whole time, and it was just so hard to come out with the truth that I kept fighting.
Katie conceded that the state had it right, that Charlie had solicited her for the murder. She said he put an envelope in her diaper bag and that she in turn gave that to Sigfredo. She agreed that she intentionally insulated one from the other. She was the middleman and would talk to Charlie and then talk to Sigfredo. The two of them would never talk to each other. Katie was asked about the timing of the murder.
Were you getting any pressure put on you to get the job done?
Yes, ma'am, from Charlie.
And did that increase over time, like between, and I specifically want to know about between the June trip and the ultimate murder trip?
Yes, ma'am. He was a little bit more adamant and persistent. Well, Katie, why hasn't anything been happening? What's going on?
And were you then in turn putting some pressure on Garcia to get it done, make it happen?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you relay the message to the killers that the victim was going to be going out of town the day after he ultimately was killed?
No, ma'am. I had no knowledge.
You didn't know anything about Dan Markel's travel schedule?
No, ma'am.
Do you know whether his travel schedule was contained in the documents inside that manila envelope?
I would think a lot of information was there because for some reason, Sigfredo knew information and Charlie knew information, and that's why the whole confusion was on me. And it's
okay. But you don't know what was in there. You didn't look at it, and you didn't relay that message about the travel.
No, ma'am. I had no knowledge of it.
She agreed that in June 2014, she asked Charlie to put her on the payroll. Her payments from the Adelson Institute months later were compensation for the murder. When she arrived at Charlie's house the night of July 18th, after the murder, she said Charlie was nervously pacing back and forth with a gun in his hand. He told her that his parents had just left. They both took a Xanax and she ended up sleeping over. She said Charlie put the money in her car.
How was your cut of the money packaged?
It wasn't like a cut. It was just basically, it was in a bag, in a plastic bag, grocery bag, and I believe there was like a paper bag and then a Ziploc bag inside it.
All right, so the inner thing was a Ziploc bag.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When you opened the Ziploc bag, did you notice that the money was stapled together?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
It was, okay. Did you notice something else unusual about the money?
At that moment, I didn't when I opened it, but a couple of days after the fact, it was wet and starting to mold.
The money itself was damp to the touch?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, and did you ever mention that back to Charlie Adelson?
I'm pretty sure I contacted him and told him, why is the money wet?
What do you mean pretty sure? You did or you didn't?
That I did.
Okay, and when you contacted him and said the money's wet, or you just mentioned to him the money's wet, did he have a response?
Yes, ma'am. He told me that his mom washed the money.
That she physically washed the money?
Yes, ma'am.
Katie confirmed that all of the checks she received were signed by Donna.
Did Charlie Adelson ever tell you this murder is to benefit my mother?
No, ma'am.
Did Charlie Adelson ever tell you this murder is to benefit my sister?
No, ma'am.
But you knew that, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
He did tell you that his mom was at the house right before you arrived, the night of the murder.
Yes, ma'am.
He did tell you that his mother washed the money.
Yes, ma'am.
Money that was payment for the murder.
Yes, ma'am.
Katie also agreed that she was talking in code in her wiretapped conversations with Charlie, including when they were talking about properties and real estate. She agreed that innocent people don't talk in code. The timeline of the alleged conspiracy was made a bit clearer as Sergeant Chris Corbett with the Tallahassee PD testified. On October 13th, 2013, Donna texted Charlie, "Horrible evening for your sister and for us. Dad finally had to walk outside to lower his blood pressure. Just awful. I can't even explain." Charlie responded, "I bet. Let's talk this week." On October 30th, 2013, the day before Halloween, Donna texted Charlie, "Just got a text from Wendy, casually mentioning that she's moving ahead with purchase of the house that she liked. I guess she wants to do it before November 7th when she leaves for England. This morning was her last day with the boys for a while. How was your day?" Charlie responded, "She never told me." Then he wrote, "He will hold that over her and use it as leverage, especially after she puts money down." Then, "She is really stupid." Charlie said he will try again, but that he only talks to Wendy about once a week and leaves about 7 messages. Later, Charlie texted Wendy and wrote, "Call you in 10 min." Almost 2 hours later, he wrote again, "I must talk to you. Please call me." Wendy responded that she was in court and could call him at 4. Sergeant Corbett said they eventually talked. Then Charlie texted Donna, "Spoke to Wendy. I think I made some headway. Hope you are having an awesome time in Israel. Have a good night." Charlie then texted Wendy the next day on Halloween 2013 and asked her how she was feeling. He then wrote, "There's a funny saying, if it flies, floats, or fucks, rent it." Then, "I love you." Donna texted Charlie back and told him about how their trip was going in Jerusalem. Charlie then wrote, "Spoke to Wendy for 20 minutes last night. She texted me today that she pulled the plug on the house." Smiley face. Donna responded, "Wow, Charlie, thank you again. How did you accomplish that? You are a miracle worker. Tell us." Charlie wrote, "For starters, Danny would have used any deposit Wendy put on a house as leverage. First thing she needs to do is get permission from him in the courts before she even thinks about anything. And I had about 5 other really good reasons why it would have been the dumbest mistake of her life. Second dumbest." In February 2014, Donna texted Charlie about how stressed out Wendy was and told him she will probably have to go to another depot, which Donna called outrageous. Charlie responded, "Crazy." The following day, Donna told him that Wendy spoke to a friend attorney about getting a protective order, but that's very hard to do unless there is a previous history of threats or abuse. "I still think she should let the judge know that he is stalking her," she wrote. Charlie said, "I agree." They continued to talk about Wendy and Dan's divorce proceedings. Donna also said how Dan came to the boys' soccer game, referring to him as an asshole. On March 4th, 2014, Donna texted Charlie, "I can't talk now, but I'll text you before we stop in Gainesville where I can go to the bathroom and have a moment of privacy. Then I'll call. Please pick up because I will have very limited alone time today. Erase this text after you read it." 20 minutes later, she texted him, "We'll stop in about 5 minutes and I can speak to you privately about Dad's birthday gift when I'm out of the car. I have some good ideas." Kissy face emoji. Charlie wrote, "Great." Going back in the timeline a bit, an email from donnaharvey@gmail.com with the subject line "Bad News" was sent to a couple of Donna's friends on June 25th, 2013 at about 7 p.m. This was a couple days after Wendy's relocation was denied. It said, "Not in the mood to talk right now. Hope you'll understand. Wendy's hearing for relocation was denied. No chance at the appellate level for an appeal. We are all very disappointed. We'll talk soon, I promise. Love, Donna." Prosecutor Sarah Catherine Dugan then switched gears again to the June 2014 trip to Tallahassee by the hitmen. Sergeant Corbett said Sigfredo Garcia rented a car at about 8:50 p.m. on June 2, 2014, and it was due back on June 5th. He rented a silver Nissan Altima. The phone records for Katie show that she was possibly together with Sigfredo as he rented the car. At 8:57 p.m., Charlie attempts to call her. After she leaves the rental car place, she calls him back. The call lasts a little over 25 minutes.
Right after Charlie Adelson hangs up with Catherine McVanois at 9:43 and 25 seconds, who does he call less than a minute later?
Charlie calls the Adelson residence.
Adelson residence. What do you mean by that?
The home phone or landline phone for Donna and Harvey Adelson.
Okay, so this is a landline that presumably they would both use that's located in their house.
Correct.
Okay, and how long does that conversation between Charlie and the Adelson residence last?
Also just over 25 minutes.
A little bit later, Charlie calls Harvey on his cell phone. Prosecutor Dugan pointed out that there were no texts or calls from Charlie to Donna's cell phone, so the call to the Adelson landline may have been to her. Sergeant Corbett agreed. He told the jury that there was a citation issued to Sigfredo Garcia while driving the silver Nissan Altima later on the night of June 2nd in Miami Beach. It was about an hour after he rented it.
Okay, so it seems as if as soon as he rented that vehicle, within an hour, he's getting a traffic ticket in the vehicle.
Yes.
And are you familiar with Jeffrey Lacoste's statement that he drove a silver Nissan sedan at the time that this happened?
Yes.
Now, this traffic ticket that Garcia received, this would have received, or it would have created a record in law enforcement databases that he was in possession of this Nissan silver sedan, right?
Correct.
So after he got this traffic ticket, what did he do?
Well, what we saw was an additional comfort rental contract where it would appear that he returned the Nissan and obtained a different vehicle. So this is slide 125, and we can see that on June 3rd, he now has a blue Hyundai Sonata.
Prosecutor Dugan went back to text exchanges between Charlie and Donna, this time from June 2014. This next exchange was after the hitmen took the trip to Tallahassee in June, but didn't commit the murder. On June 7th, Charlie texted, "Okay, have fun. Still working on Dad's B-Day present." Donna responded, "I know it's a tough B-Day, being 70 and all, but I know you'll come through." Thumbs up emoji and kissy face emoji. Mom. An Evite reminder for Harvey's birthday party was sent out to Wendy's phone on July 3rd. The Markel boys were listed with their last names as Adelson. Sergeant Corbett testified that it was Donna who sent the invite.
Now, Donna is listed as the host here, but was there further evidence in the records that Donna Adelson was not only the host, but was also the person who sent these evites?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell us about that?
There was at least one other email from the Donna Harvey at Gmail account to Evite inquiring about whether the Evites had been sent. The title of the email, I believe, is "Have My 14 Invitations Been Sent?" She's following up. It is signed by Donna Adelson, following up on whether those Evites have actually gone out. And it indicates that basically she's unfamiliar with the process, but she had listed the attendees under the contact section on their form.
So she's the one that's listing the invitees for the contacts for Evite.
Per that email, yes.
And checking to make sure the invitations did get sent through the Evite service.
Correct.
And does she also send a message to another person saying, did you get the Evite? Did you get my Evite?
Yes.
The day after the party, on July 6, 2014, Wendy sent a text message to Dan Markel. It said, "Are you in Tallahassee July 14th through the 18th? I just want to know if I can have the kiddos on the 16th. Thanks." Dan responded, "Yes, you can."
So chronologically, this would have occurred after the trip to Tallahassee in June by the killers, but before the July trip to Tallahassee when Dan Markel was actually murdered?
Correct.
Now, the dates that Wendy Adelson is asking Dan Markel about, what is significant about those dates? What happened on July 15th?
Those dates encompass the rental car and the trip to Tallahassee and ultimately Mr. Markel's death.
Was there already a schedule in place as to who would have the kids during those dates that Wendy Adelson asked Dan Markel about?
Yes, there was. So this is an email from Wendy Adelson's Gmail account referencing the schedule for the children for this particular time. And we can see in the email that Mr. Markel is listed to have the children the 11th through the 17th.
And the date she was asking about is the 16th?
Correct.
And in the top of that email, does it say that she gets the kids every Wednesday anyway?
That she has the children every Wednesday anyway?
Yeah, the last sentence. I imagine you'll have the chance to have them on Wednesday nights during the weeks in May, June, and July?
Yes, that she would imagine to have the chance.
Okay. So what she was asking about seems to already be established in this schedule that was already established in January, 7 months earlier?
Correct.
All right, so where was Wendy Adelson when she sent the message to find out whether Dan Markel would be in town that week?
So that message was sent the morning of the 6th, and the closest cell site or event we have with location, she's communicating with a cell site in South Miami Beach, that would be consistent with the continuum.
And the continuum was the residence of Harvey and Donna Adelson at the time?
That's correct.
On July 11th, Donna emailed Wendy about the Best Buy service for the television. On July 15th, the killers rented another car for their second trip to Tallahassee. Earlier in the day, Sigfredo had called 2 different rental places. After this car, a Prius, was rented, Charlie and Katie talked, and then Charlie called the Adelson residence for a 22-minute call, and then again for 11 minutes. Sergeant Corbett noted that just 1 minute after the last call, Harvey's cell phone called the Adelson residence, indicating that Donna was home and Harvey was not.
Earlier, we talked about how rare it is that Charlie Adelson calls his parents' landline. He only calls 28 times total in I think it was around 15 months in your time span around the time of this murder. So we saw during the June car rental, there was 1 call to the landline. Is that right?
Yes.
And for this car rental, there's 2 calls right after the landline. Is that right?
Correct.
Sorry, 2 calls to the landline right after the car rental. Is that right?
Yes.
Thank you. So 3 total of those 28 were right after these cars were rented.
Yes.
The night before the murder, Charlie called Donna at 10:18 p.m. They spoke for about 4 minutes, and then he called her again at 10:29, where they spoke for another 4 minutes. At 11:40, Katie called Sigfredo, and they talked. They talked again at 11:54 and 12:01 a.m. At 12:07, Charlie called Katie. At 12:34, Katie called Charlie, which lasted for 53 seconds. Charlie then called Donna at 1:02, but she didn't answer. He then called Katie at 1:03. Later in the morning on July 18th, the day of the murder, Wendy had a calendar event in her phone that read 8 a.m. Fix TV, which was deleted.
And I want to ask you about that. Did she often have calendar events in her phone?
She did, yes.
And she would often delete those events?
Correct.
All right. When was this calendar event deleted?
I do not know.
Okay. Was it when she was with law enforcement the afternoon of July 18th? Did they take her phone and run a Cellbrite report on it?
Yes. So this extraction occurred on the late evening hours of July 18th.
Okay. And in the Cellbrite, it would have shown that the calendar event was deleted. Is that right?
Correct.
So would she have had to have deleted it before her cell phone was Cellbrited that evening?
Yes.
Okay. So sometime between 8 a.m. when the event is on her phone and that evening it was deleted.
It could have been deleted before that date.
At 8:09 a.m., there was a call from Wendy to Donna, which lasted for 34 seconds. Donna then tried calling her back, and then Donna texted her, "Best Buy just called me, but I told them to confirm with you. They are on their way over now to help you with the TV sets in your living room." About 9 minutes later, at 8:20 a.m., Wendy texted Charlie, "This is so sweet." This text was deleted.
And would that have had to have been deleted then before the Cellbrite that afternoon, sometime between when it was received at 8:20 and the Cellbrite that afternoon?
Correct.
Wendy received a voicemail from Dan at 9:04 a.m. He said, "Hey, Wendy, it's Danny. Good morning. It's 9 a.m. on Friday. Just wanted to let you know, I was hoping to pick the boys up early this afternoon and take them swimming, and then have them ready for you at around 4:30 or 5 if you can pick them up from me, either at Troesdale or at the house. So let me know if that's okay with you. And also, I'd love to chat with you about Ben's situation for school and birthday stuff and all that. I'm going to be at the gym probably between 9:15 and 10:30, but happy to chat or meet with you. Maybe we can go for a walk at school or something. Let me know. Okay, bye." Wendy then texted Dan at 9:12 a.m. "Repairman at my house right now. I am picking up the boys at 3 p.m., so your swim idea is a no-go today." Sergeant Corbett agreed that the killers were already following Dan by the time Wendy had received that voicemail, according to Luis Rivera's testimony.
Again, she indicated that the swim idea was a no-go. Mr. Markel responds about his day ending at 4:30.
Meaning that he gets to keep the boys under the schedule until 4:30.
Correct.
Okay.
As again, in this message, he says, "under our schedule." And he continues, "and you had them until 5 last week." This is at 9:13 a.m.
Okay.
Wendy Adelson responds, "because you needed to food shop." This is at 9:15. Mr. Markel replies, "you weren't making them available until 5.
And at this point, he's already in the Premier parking lot around that time.
Would be correct, yes.
Okay.
Wendy responds, "if it was 4:30 last Friday, you should have told me that. Why tell me now?" This is at 9:19. And also at 9:19, Wendy receives a call from Charlie, lasts a little over 18 minutes.
Okay. What happens next after this phone conversation?
So after the phone call started, Wendy would have received the incoming text, "because I was being nice." And then about the time that phone call would have ended, Wendy texts Dan back.
And does she say, "Nice was fun while it lasted. See you at 4:30 today at my house then"?
Correct.
So after this 18-minute phone call with Charlie Adelson, does she seemingly change her stance in the argument? She kind of concedes the argument and agrees with what Dan Markel is asking. He can keep the boys until 4:30.
Correct.
And then within about an hour of this message was Dan Markel killed.
He was shot, yes.
Charlie attempted to call Donna at 9:38 a.m. Then he and Katie called each other back and forth. At 9:58, they talked for almost 7 minutes. Charlie then called Wendy at 10:06 for 11 seconds. Katie then tried calling Charlie and he called her back. They talked for about 6 minutes. Around this same time, Dan was also playing phone tag with his divorce attorney, Stephen Webster. They set up a time to talk later that day. Sergeant Corbett was asked about the route Wendy took later that morning after she left her house. She had testified that she was going to ABC Liquors before going to lunch with friends. She reportedly ran into the roadblock at the crime scene and then turned her car around and went a different way. Sergeant Corbett estimated that she would have been at the roadblock somewhere between 12:35 and 12:45.
Are you familiar with the area of Thomasville Road and I-10 where the restaurant Mosaic used to be, which was the restaurant she went to lunch at that day?
I am.
Were there any liquor stores in that area back in July 2014?
There were, yes.
Okay, can you thank you.
So what we see, slide 237, again, we are showing the residence, her residence at the time on Awkward Ridge, and her ultimate destination, which was Mosaic off of Thomasville Road. So clearly the next slide here shows, as calculated by the mapping software, the most direct route between those two locations as far as where she was heading.
And then were there any liquor stores in the area of Mosaic at that time?
There were. So at that time, there was Publix Liquors on Thomasville Road there, very close to Mosaic. There was Market Square Liquors off Thomasville, and also another ABC location a little further north on Thomasville Road.
Would those Publix and Market Square Liquors be a lot closer to Aqua Ridge and Mosaic than the one she ultimately went to?
They would. And this is slide 242, which shows the route she ended up taking versus what is calculated as the most efficient route. We can see there's a difference of about 9 minutes longer to go the other way.
So she went 9 minutes out of the way to go to the ABC Liquors next to Dan Markel's home.
Correct.
Wendy called Donna from the Tallahassee Police Department at 7:04 p.m. After that call, Donna texted Charlie, "Call us ASAP." Within an hour, Donna's cell phone moved to the North Miami area.
You said that their last cell phone communication with location data was in North Miami at 8:35 p.m. and their next event with location after that was at 10:53 p.m. Are you familiar with Catherine Magbanwa's statement that Charlie Adelson told her that his parents had just been at her home the night of Dan Markel's murder before she arrived at the home?
Her home or his home?
His home, Charlie Adelson's home.
Yes.
Charlie Adelson's parents had just been at Charlie Adelson's home before Magbanwa arrived that night.
Correct.
Okay. Is Charlie's home located between the location we see there for the cell site at 8:35 and the location for the cell site at 10:53?
Yes, we see here the location referenced by the flag of where Mr. Adelson's residence was at the time.
Is there evidence in the phone records that Donna Adelson went to Charlie Adelson's home on the night of Dan Markel's murder?
So there is another communication from Miss Donna Adelson at 8:59 p.m. stating outside your house.
Outside your house, and she's sending that message to Charlie Adelson, is that right?
Correct.
Sergeant Corbett said that after Donna texted Charlie outside your house, Charlie responded 10 min. Charlie's phone then showed him in the vicinity of his house 10 minutes later. Sergeant Corbett said cell phone data also confirms that Katie met up with Sigfredo and Lewis that night when they got back to Miami. After Katie was at Lewis's place for a while, Charlie called her and then she called him back at 10:22. Earlier, around 8 p.m., Charlie and Katie had texted about meeting up later. Charlie had told her he wasn't really feeling good and had suggested that they just hang out at his house. Cell phone data from Katie's phone showed her leaving the area of Charlie's residence the following morning, on July 19th. According to her testimony, and corroborated by her records, she then met up with the killers and handed over the money she had received from Charlie. Agent Pat Sanford with the FBI was heavily involved in the wiretaps placed on Charlie's and Katie's phones in 2016. Prosecutor Kappelman asked him if he found any evidence in the calls of Donna meddling in her children's lives. He said yes. He told the jury he was aware that Wendy had a contract to purchase a house in Tallahassee in 2013. He said she pulled the plug on the purchase on Halloween 2013.
And are you familiar with the evidence that Catherine Magbanua gave regarding being approached on that same day by Charlie Adelson about what ultimately became this murder for hire?
Yes, I am.
Prosecutor Kappelman asked about Donna's meddling in Wendy's dating life.
And specifically, I think this one's called 989. What's the gist of what is on that call?
Mrs. Adelson's talking to Charlie Adelson, and they're discussing Wendy's current boyfriend, which is his name is Dave, and talking about different ways to keep her dating Dave and keeping her from breaking up with him.
All right, and is Donna Adelson enlisting Charlie's help in dealing with Wendy?
That's correct.
All right, managing Wendy.
Correct.
Prosecutor Kappelman played a phone call where Charlie and Donna talked for several minutes about Wendy's love interest, Dave, as well as her career options.
Okay, I think we get the idea. We're 2 years out, right, from Dan Markel's murder?
That's correct.
Okay. And who is Dave? Did you identify Dave through the course of the investigation?
We did. He's Dave Atel. He owned it. He was a successful businessman and lived in South Florida.
And is this the only call that happened to be captured on the wire in which these two are discussing Wendy's love life?
No, it wasn't.
They talk about Dave quite a bit.
They did several times.
All right, and they talk about Wendy's career options too, don't they?
They do.
And does the defendant, Donna Adelson, enlist Charlie to convince Wendy to do her bidding in reference to Wendy's career as well?
Correct.
The actual bump from when an undercover FBI agent approached Donna with a piece of paper containing an article about Dan Markel, along with a number to call on it, was also played for the jury. This was used by the investigators to get the co-conspirators to talk about the case on recorded cell phones.
Gary, listen, I just want to let you know that we know that your family has been taking care of Katie and little Brandon Duco for quite some time after your problem up north has been resolved. And I want to let you know that my brother, he's incarcerated. He helped your family with this problem you guys had up north. And we want to make sure that he's going through some rough times. And we want to make sure that you take care of what he's going through the way you're taking care of Katie and Tuco. Well, this will explain it. Thank you.
Does the defendant remain under surveillance for some time after this?
She does.
Okay, we see her take the paper from the undercover and fold it and put it into her purse. Does she ever take it out and look at it before she gets back into her building?
Not that we ever saw, no.
And does she make any phone calls once she goes back into her building?
When she goes back into her building, she does.
And who is the first person that the defendant calls after the bump?
Charlie Adelson.
In this call, Donna said, "So I have time tonight after work or some other time in the very near future. I'm going to need to speak with you." She told him, I got some paperwork hand-delivered to me. Charlie asked if she's being sued. Donna responded, "No, that's what I thought it was, but I'm going to need to talk to you." At another point, Charlie asked, "Does it involve me or other people?" Donna said, "Well, probably both of us." "What's that?" Charlie asked. "Probably the two of us," Donna said again. "So you probably have a general idea what I'm talking about." A little later in the conversation, Charlie asked if it was anonymous. Donna said, "Oh no, it's not anonymous. It's not anonymous. I just don't want to discuss it over the phone." Then she said, "I wouldn't bother you. Trust me." Charlie said, "Whatever it is, I'll take a look at the paperwork."
Would you describe the defendant's demeanor on this call as really calm?
Yes.
She says, "Dad's at work, fortunately."
She does.
Does she indicate that she's in fear on the call?
No, she does not.
She was handed a piece of paper that had an article about the murder of Dan Markel, right?
Correct.
That's what the interaction was about.
That's correct. That's what he handed her and made reference to it.
And when Charlie asked the defendant what it's about, what does she say?
She says the both of us.
Probably both of us. Probably the two of us.
And then the two of us. Said it twice.
Does she say the name Dan Markel on this call?
No, she does not.
Does she say the name Dan Markel anywhere on this wire?
No, not that I recall.
Did she report this incident to the police?
No, she did not.
In another call between the two 20 minutes later, Charlie tells her that whatever it is, he wouldn't worry about it too much. He says, I mean, someone can write whatever they want to write. Someone can say whatever they want to say, and I'm not worried. He then asks her, so was it another bad review on Yelp? Donna replies, you know, those reviews come in and sometimes they are bad reviews. This is a particularly bad one. Charlie asks, but I'm not being sued? And she responds, no. A little bit later, Donna says, I'll make you take me out to dinner, so make sure you bring cash with you. Charlie asks, can I ask you, is someone blackmailing you? Donna responds, that's always a good possibility. Do you think someone is trying to blackmail you? He asks. Donna says, maybe, could be, I don't know. Charlie asks, is this anything government related, or is this like a whack job writing a letter to you? Donna says she doesn't know if it's government related. Charlie asks if she knows who sent it to her. She says, I have a pretty good idea, but we'll talk later. I would like to try and see you today. Charlie asks if she wants to take a picture of the letter and send it to him. She says no, she really doesn't want to do that. He asks her how long the letter is. She says, well, it was just a copy of an article, but it's written on the letter that it was written on the copy of that letter. Is the person threatening you? Charlie asks. You know, I don't think we should talk. All right, Charlie says. I mean, listen, it's the kind of thing, if there's a threat, you go to the police. Donna responds, yeah. Donna then tells him that at this time, she doesn't think that's a good idea.
On this call, we hear the defendant say that this is a particularly bad Yelp review. Is this an example of code talk?
Yes.
This doesn't have anything to do with the Yelp review, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so already in call 2, we've got code words being used.
That's correct.
After they hang up about 15 minutes later, Charlie calls her again and asks her more questions about the person who delivered the letter to her. He asks her what they asked for. She responds, you know, I don't know. The TV was probably about $5,000. Charlie asks, they asked you for $5,000? Donna says, and mentioned, you know, like an ex-girlfriend.
This TV is probably going to be about $5,000. Was there anything to do with the TV in this bump operation?
Yes.
Well, was the word TV mentioned to Donna Adelson when the undercover approached her?
No, not at all.
Did he say she was buying a TV for $5,000?
No.
Okay. So the TV, though, has significance in the greater context of your investigation?
That's correct.
How so?
Charlie Adelson had supposedly joked to several people about buying his sister a TV as a divorce present instead of hiring a hitman.
All right. And was that the same TV that also served as Wendy Adelson's alibi in the morning of the murder?
That's correct.
After that call, Charlie calls Katie.
First, when I see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Because I don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom walked the kids. I only heard part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go down there and talk to her tomorrow to find out what's going on.
Okay. She didn't want to elaborate. But she said that someone approached her on the street, called her by name, handed her an envelope with something in it.
Yeah.
And somebody was, she really wouldn't go into detail, but I have no idea what this is in reference to. But something regarding her son, something regarding his ex-girlfriend, and the person asking my mom for some money.
What?
Yeah.
Charlie tells her he is going to go see his mom in person so he can see the paper. He tells her he may want to see her tomorrow if it has something to do with her. Agent Sanford testified that Charlie did not call any other ex-girlfriend. The following day, Charlie went to Donna's condo, where they met and spoke outside. Afterwards, Charlie met up with Katie at the Dolce Vita restaurant. That recording was played at Charlie's trial, and it doesn't directly include Donna, so I'm not going to repeat that here. After that meeting, Charlie calls Donna. He tells her he was just leaving coffee with a friend and that everything is good. He says he was helping her out with some relationship advice. Without a doubt, everything is fine, he says. Donna has to hang up with him to tend to something, and in their next call a few minutes later, Charlie says, "Yeah, everything is good. So I just hung up with my friend, and then she's going to sleep on some stuff, and then she's going to come over tomorrow, either to my office or Funness's office, and tell me how it works." He tells her he would worry about absolutely nothing. Charlie and Katie talk again. She tells him she talked to Sigfredo and that there seems to be one of two scenarios. They refer to a property listing as they talk. Charlie says, "But the thing is that property came with the full listing with all the information." Katie says, "But then again, you can have a listing everywhere. Everything's accessible." Charlie says, "Yeah, I mean, you can. What's crazy, I mean, it came with everything but pictures." Charlie tells her he's not interested in buying the property because it just becomes a headache for life because it doesn't stop. He says, every single time somebody's going to keep increasing the amount. He says it's either one of two things. It's either a false lead, someone just wasting your fucking time, or you get the wrong tenant in there with the rental property. And if there's a head and it becomes, let's say even they move out, let's say they take a little vacation, it will be like a leech that never leaves you, he says. Katie tells him she made a couple phone calls last night to see if it was a good lead, and she will find out more. About an hour after that call, Charlie calls Donna. He tells her, "But anyway, that's what I think it is, without a question, for multiple reasons." They talk about Charlie taking Harvey out to dinner, and if he wants to grab a bite with me, I'm happy to do dinner with him, Charlie tells her. Later, Charlie and Harvey go to dinner at a restaurant called Matsuri. This video recording was also played at Charlie's trial, so I'm not going to go into this one either. Agent Sanford testified that investigators sent a letter to the Adelson residence too. It read, "My phone is not ringing, so you don't care about Tato and what he did for you. He knows he is fucked, and soon so will you." Prosecutor Kappelman then played a call between Charlie and Katie. It sounds like they're trying to meet up. She tells him traffic is bad and asks if he can go up a little more north. He tells her he will and then says, "I was standing outside. I was talking to my parents about everything." Katie says, "Huh?" He says, "I was just talking to my parents about my day." He tells her to do him a favor and just come down there, saying she's already in her car. He tells her the Icon is on the corner of 5th and Albin. He tells her he still needs to talk to his parents for another 5 minutes, and then he will leave and go to wherever she is. Agent Sanford said Charlie and Katie then switched over to WhatsApp and then met up. Agents couldn't get there in time. More calls were played for the jury between Charlie and Donna and Charlie and Katie and Sigfredo, calls that were also played during Charlie's trial. Many times they're talking in code, seemingly about what to do with the recent letter the Adelsons received and the whole situation in general. In one call, Charlie tells Donna how he called the guy, and when he spoke to the person, he definitely had a New York accent. He said he thinks it's probably somebody playing games and fishing. Agent Sanford testified that investigators made a third attempt in May 2016 at their bump and to get their targets talking.
A text message was sent from the undercover to Mrs. Adelson's cell phone at early in the morning, late at night, 2:09 a.m.
What's the content of the message that was sent?
So the text read, "So you don't take me serious, you think I'm playing. You have some puta call me to see if I'm for real. If you think what Katie, baby daddy did for you can't come back, you're fucking crazy. I want the," there's actually, I believe, a dollar sign there. "Now, or I'm going after the 100K, exclamation point."
Okay. And are there a few calls generated by that particular bump?
Yes, there was.
All right, could you set up SS for us?
Yes, it's the same day as the text message. Text message was, like I said, was at 2:09 a.m. on the 4th. That morning at 9:08, Katie McVanwa calls Charlie Adelson.
Okay, so this would be right at the, like, oh, I see. So about 7 hours later.
Correct. About 7 hours later that morning.
In this call, Charlie and Donna talk for a bit, and then Charlie asks, "So is everything else okay?" Donna says, yeah. And Charlie asks, "Like it is, or you're just saying it is?" "Just saying," Donna says. "Yeah, I figured. Yeah," Charlie responds. "Did you see somebody today, or was it?" Donna says, "No, it's different, but I'll see you on Sunday. We'll talk." Charlie asks if someone bothered Wendy, and she says, "Not yet." Charlie says he thinks she should see him before Sunday. Then Charlie talks to Katie. He says he's on his way to Miami to meet up with his parents. He said they want to talk to him. Then he talks to Donna again. She tells him they will meet him outside and then walk to the pool area. After they met, Katie calls Charlie and he tells her he will call her back from a landline. During their next call on his cell phone, she asks what the text was, and he tells her. At one point, Donna calls the number the undercover agent had given her on the paper. Here are some snippets from that call.
"I'm Mrs. Adelson."
Yes.
My grandchildren had my phone before, so that's, and I just saw that you called.
Oh, okay. You left a message on my voicemail.
Right, I did.
No.
This is my problem. You approached me on Alton Road. You handed me an article from the newspaper about my ex-son-in-law. You told me I need to call you and help your friend who is in prison. Now, at the time you did that, I didn't understand what you were talking about. I didn't call you back. Then you mail me a threatening letter. Then you send me a text message to my phone that says I'm not taking you seriously. So I am taking you seriously. And I really want you to listen to me.
I'm listening.
I have to tell you, I mean, this is important. I have been so stressed out. I have spoken to 10 or 12 people who are close friends of mine, telling them about this and basically picking their brains and asking them what I should do, because I don't know your friend who is in jail. You mentioned a name. I don't even know his name. I never spoke to him. I don't know what he looks like. I've never met him. I'm sorry your friend's in jail, but I don't know what that has to do with me.
You know exactly what it has to do with. You know exactly what. Listen to me carefully. Listen to me. You just got to listen to me.
You need to ask your friend who this person looks like, what their name is, something, because I know there's a big reward out there, and if you need money for your friends, that's the way to get it. I mean, I'm asking you nicely. I don't know who he is. I am out of the loop. It is not me. If I can help, I would help. I mean, that's what.
Just like I told you. Listen to me. Just like I told you that day, we know that your family had a problem up north. We know that problem was taken care of about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and we know that Katie has been taken care of. And has been taken care of. Now my brother in jail, we were in Broward together. He told me the whole thing, and he hasn't been taken care of. You know. Now all that's being asked for is $5K. That's all we're asking for is $5K. And he told me everything, and I know everything. I know who's involved. I know everything, and I'll get the $100K for myself.
You know,
all I ask is to send the $5K. Everybody knows what's going on.
I don't, you're saying everyone knows. I know I lost my ex-son-in-law. I did not have anything to do with it. That's why I said, ask him what. That's what my brother Tato told me. He told me everything when we were in jail. He told me everything and who was involved. I know everything. Well, I don't. That's the problem. I'm telling you, it's not me. It's not me.
Agent Sanford told the jury that Donna never called the number back and didn't call the police. He said she made a recording of the call and then shared it with Charlie. Afterwards, Charlie was convinced that it was the police. It's not done like that, he said. Agent Sanford testified that after Katie came forward about how she was the middleman in the conspiracy, they were able to corroborate her testimony. For example, she said Charlie first approached her on Halloween 2013 when they were at a party on Lincoln Road. When looking at Charlie's text messages, they were able to find a text where he said he was on Lincoln Road that night. Agent Sanford told the jury that shortly after Charlie was convicted in November 2023, Donna and Charlie spoke on the phone.
And in that call, did something happen that caused the defendant to be reported longer than the conversation between her and Charlie? Can you just sort of explain? She thought she hung up, but she didn't hang up, right?
Correct. There was a jail call with Mr. Adelson, and at some point he dropped off the call. She thought the call had hung up, so she just apparently set her phone down and didn't hit end on her end of the line.
That call was also played in court. After Donna thinks the phone has cut off, she can be heard talking to Harvey and someone else in the background. In it, she says, "I'm old. I had a life. We had a great marriage, happy. We traveled. We lived good. I really am not that happy, and I don't want him to leave, to just say goodbye and let me lay down, something nice. It's nothing painful. I just want to go to sleep. We bought our cemetery property a couple months ago. We're good. I'm good." A bit later, she says, "We can do it together. Leave a note. They'll know when to come and get us, and we'll do it together." In this next part, the Dan she is referring to isn't Dan Markel, but Dan Rashbaum, who was Charlie's attorney as well as hers for a time. She can be heard saying, "Look, gotta make a decision at some point. So after speaking to Dan this morning and knowing what they're thinking up there, I don't know if we'll make it out in time. I really don't. But Dan said, you might, or you might get all of it, get to the airport, and they'll stop you. And that could happen. It could happen. I don't know, but it's worth a try." She then talks about Wendy and says, "I can't get in touch with her, honestly. And she tells me, my lawyer this, her lawyer, if it's about the case. And I say, it's not about the case." She says she told Wendy that she had just gotten off with Charlie and that he's worried about Wendy. She says she told Wendy, "You never ask anything about your brother," and that Wendy told her it's because her lawyer said she shouldn't ask. Donna says, "We found out it's not true." She then says, "So I wrote this last night. We know you never ask anything about your brother. This is 8:00 last night. But we just got off the phone with him, and the first thing he asked was, 'How's Wendy holding up?' I didn't have the heart to tell him that you never called us or asked about him. I just said, you weren't up for phone calls right now. Everyone looks to protect you. I bet you've got a lot to think about. But then she didn't answer. But then I got another call from Charlie at 2:00 at night, and I said, just got off the phone with Charlie. He's worried about you. He wants to know why we didn't speak. I told him a lie. I said, we're only speaking with you and Dan right now. I couldn't bear to tell him the truth. Your sister never even called us, is the truth. She says Wendy responded, Dear Mom, I know you are upset by the verdict, but the anger directed at me is not justified. I'm not responsible in any way for Charlie's situation. I am not guilty because I did not do anything wrong, and I was not involved in any way with Danny's death. When I was interviewed by the police and testified in court, I told the truth, as I was required to do. I cannot control how the prosecutor used my statement for Charlie's trial. Also, as you know, my lawyer has advised me not to talk to my family or anyone else about this case. I have followed his advice despite your disagreements with his guidance. Please do not text me about this case anymore. If you have anything further to say about the case, please go through our lawyers. Right now, I have to be singularly focused on taking care of the boys during this difficult time. Donna says she wrote Wendy back, Okay, we have no desire to speak with you about the case. I guess Dad and I are just shocked that you didn't think of coming to see us or even calling us. We are your parents. We are and have always been there for you and the boys. None of what we wrote matters about the case. That's over. I just want you to know how many times Charlie is asking about you. Not only do you not ask about us, but not one question about Charlie, right? We will need to give you some information shortly, and we need some business assistance. Please let us know if you can be of any help. She says she stressed to Wendy that they need help with business stuff and personal things, and that it's not about the case. I hope you understand that it has nothing to do with the case, she says she wrote. There is no more case. She says she asked Wendy if Wendy told the boys, and Wendy said yes. Donna then says, We've been looking it up over and over because things change. If there is extradition from Vietnam, because we've looked at all the places. I mean, I could go to Korea and China, but there's no extradition. But we're looking for places where there's no extradition. She then goes back to talking about Wendy. How many times do we have plans? I really can't. I have to cancel. Wendy needs us for this. Wendy needs us to babysit. So we've been really good nannies. And I guess our job is up now because the boys are older. They can go out with friends and they can do things on their own. So she doesn't need grandma and grandpa. Pretty hurtful. Have one son that I don't speak with. I have one son whose hope seems dead. And my daughter, whom I love, is doing this? I don't get it. I don't get it. I said to Harvey, I swear to God our family was cursed. Absolutely cursed. And I don't know how to take care of it anymore. Agent Sanford said after investigators heard this call, they looked into whether Donna and Harvey were making plans to leave the country. They learned that on November 13th, they were going to go through Dubai to Vietnam, both non-extradition countries. He said they made the arrest as Donna and Harvey were about to board the plane.
When you seized the defendant's cell phone, did she physically resist you?
Yes, she did.
Could you tell us about the physical resistance that she offered?
Yes, I reached out to the phone, and when I grabbed a hold of it, she pulled it away and said no, and then kept holding it away from me, trying to turn away from me. Another officer who was there arresting her actually grabbed her arm and held it, and then we were able to finally take the phone out of her hand, but she was still trying to keep it from us.
Right, and pursuant to her arrest, was there a search warrant executed at her residence at the Icon?
There was.
Okay. And did you handle that, or did another agent handle that?
Another police department handled it locally.
And are you familiar with the items that were seized during that search warrant?
I am.
Okay, and was there a planner, 2023 day planner seized pursuant to that search warrant?
There was.
And have you had an opportunity to review that planner?
I have.
Okay. Was there a planner available for 2014 that was seized at the search warrant?
Not seized at the search warrant, no ma'am.
Okay. That planner was provided to the state attorney's office by the defendant's prior counsel, though. Do you recall that?
That's my understanding, yes.
Right. And did you review the copy of the 2014 planner, at least whatever was provided to our office by Ms. Adelson's attorney?
That's correct.
Prosecutor Kappelman displayed some of the content of the 2014 planner for the jury.
In the 2014 planner, did Mrs. Adelson keep a lot of personal information and identifying information for members of her family and even, I think, some friends in there too?
She did.
Okay. And as part of that information in the 2014 planner, did you locate any information specific to Dan Markel's vehicle?
We did.
What information was that?
Is the 08 Accord on the left middle of the page, right there. It's the 08 Accord, and the tag number is 584YBM.
That's Dan Markel's tag number at the time of his murder?
It is.
Same vehicle that the killers pursued?
That's correct.
Next time in Part 3, the conclusion of Donna Adelson's trial, we'll finish the state's case with some interesting testimony from inmates who shared a pod with Donna while she was awaiting trial. And we'll go over the defense's case and, of course, the verdict. Thanks again for listening. Until next time.